Randy in Connecticut writes to me and he says, Paul, thanks for your videos. My pleasure, sir. I'd like to replicate mono playback on my 2-channel stereo system as authentically as possible. Given that the 2 channels are summed before being sent to each speaker, would you recommend placing the 2 speakers right next to each other, side by side, perhaps in a corner of the room to replicate the effects of playing through one speaker? What advantages or disadvantages would this have for the sound? Well, I could give you a smart-ass answer, which would be maybe the best way to get mono sound would be to use a mono speaker. Just set one speaker up, put your system on mono, and play one speaker. I mean, it doesn't get any more mono than that. But I understand you want to use both speakers. You got a stereo amp, you got a stereo setup. So that's kind of a tough one. A lot of it depends on your speakers. And if you're determined to use 2 speakers, as opposed to my simple suggestion of just use one speaker, let's imagine that your speakers are a typical 2 or 3-way. Tweeter, mid-range, woofer, right? So you got a box, tweeter, mid-range, woofer. I might take the other pair of speakers, if they were bookshelfy speakers, and flip it around so that the 2 tweeters, one's going this way and one's going that way, the 2 tweeters are together, and then it spreads out from there, kind of like what we would call a Diapolito setup. And that would be my preferred way of doing it. But if you have floor standing speakers, that might make quite a tall tower. I'm not sure you want to do that. Yeah, unless you have bookshelves and you want to do it that way. I'm not a big fan of putting the 2 together. You got the 2 tweeters sitting close to each other. That's never going to work out too well for you. Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, I don't think that's a good idea. Either put them on top of each other so that the tweeters are touching as close as they can, or, honestly, like I said, just get rid of one of those speakers. The last part I'll say is corner placement. Never been a big fan of corner-placed speakers. There are speakers that, like the Klipsch speakers, the corner horn speakers, that are specifically designed to be in a corner. And when a speaker designer specifically designs it to be in a corner, he's shaped the crossover to make up for all the extra, I'm going to call it amplification, that happens by being in sort of a horn itself, right? And so you've got to pay attention when you do that to how much sonic support that corner is going to offer you, because it acts like a horn, and you got to make up for that. Because if you took a corner horn out of the corner and set it in the middle of the room, or you set it off to the side, it's not going to perform very well. And in the same way, if you take a speaker that's designed to be out in the middle of the room and you put it in a corner, it's got the same problems, and you really have to change the crossover. So stay away from the corners. Try and get your tweeters together if you're going to stick with 2, or just do 1 speaker. Good luck with that. Talk to you later.